On the grandest ship ever built, two worlds didn't just meet, they collided. We're talking about a penniless artist and a high society girl, brought together by sheer fate, only to be torn apart by one of history's greatest tragedies. So today, let's get into the story of Jack and Rose, a love so powerful it became just as legendary as the Titanic itself. So, who are these two people at the heart of our story? Well, on one hand, you have Jack Dawson. He's a third-class passenger, doesn't have a dime to his name, but he's got this sketchbook and this incredible belief in living life to the absolute fullest. And on the other hand, there's Rose DeWitt Bukater. She's a first-class heiress, but she's completely suffocating under the weight of everyone's expectations and this loveless engagement. Out there on the vast Atlantic, you just knew their worlds were destined to collide. And collide they did, in what has to be one of the most spectacular settings imaginable. Aboard the grand decks of this so-called unsinkable ship, this literal vessel of dreams, two souls found each other against all odds. I mean, just picture it. It's April 1912. The Titanic is this marvel of engineering, basically a floating palace for the super rich. But for Jack, who, won his ticket in a last-minute poker game, it meant something completely different. Freedom. It was his ticket to a new world. Little did he know his entire world was about to change in ways he could never, ever have dreamed of. Their first meeting wasn't some kind of fairy tale moment. It was actually born out of sheer desperation. Rose felt so trapped by her life, by her arrogant fiancé, that she saw only one way out. And that's exactly where Jack found her, at the very stern of the ship, completely lost in her sorrow, thinking about doing the unthinkable. And this is the moment where everything changes. With these simple, incredibly powerful words, Jack didn't just save her from the freezing ocean. He showed her that someone, for the first time, actually saw her. He just got it. He understood her pain without needing a single explanation. And that was it, the start of this incredibly profound connection. So that one moment, it sparked this defiant love. Tucked away from all the judging eyes of high society, a secret romance started to blossom. It was a love story that was so beautiful, so pure, and, tragically, you just knew it was on borrowed time. You see, Jack didn't just draw Rose's portrait. He captured her soul, that free spirit she had to keep locked away from the world. With him, she experienced this wild, beautiful freedom she never even knew existed. For the very first time, Rose felt truly alive, like his hand wasn't just leading her across the deck, but pulling her out of the gilded cage she'd been trapped in her entire life. But here's the thing. As their love grew stronger with every single stolen moment, this dark fate was creeping closer. The ship of dreams was racing, full speed ahead, straight towards a destiny that nobody on board could have ever possibly imagined. The contrast is it's absolutely heartbreaking. And then it happened. On a cold, starlit night, the dream instantly turned into a nightmare. A sudden, violent shudder, a mysterious impact, and the unsinkable ship began its slow, inevitable slide into the sea. The collision. Just a single jarring moment that shattered the calm of the entire ocean. What started as just confusion quickly spiraled into absolute panic as the horrifying reality began to sink in. The unsinkable was sinking, and their world was quite literally breaking apart all around them. And right in the middle of all that chaos, with people screaming and running for their lives, Jack made Rose a simple, unwavering promise. This wasn't just some romantic line. No, this was his declaration. He was with her, no matter what. The ship's descent into the freezing Atlantic was just pure, unbelievable chaos. Jack and Rose get separated, and they're forced to frantically search for each other in the middle of all the panic. They fought their way through flooded corridors, past decks tilted at impossible angles, all of it leading to a desperate final search for any kind of refuge in that dark, icy water. Now, adrift in that freezing darkness, surrounded only by the silent stars, we come to the story's most heart-wrenching moment. A promise was made, one that would have to be stronger than death itself. And this was the ultimate sacrifice. Jack finds a piece of floating wreckage, a wooden plank, but it can only hold one person. Without a single moment's hesitation, he hoists Rose up onto it. He knew right then and there in that freezing water that survival was for her, and not for him. It was the most selfless act of love imaginable. So with his last breaths, he gives her a final command. He makes her promise him that she'll survive,
that she'll live a full life, have children, grow old and warm in her bed. He asks her to live out all the dreams that he never got the chance to. And it's a promise she makes through tears, a promise that's going to define the rest of her life. And that brings us to the final chapter. The Titanic sank into the abyss, taking thousands of lives with it, including Jack's. But his memory and the incredible love they shared, that stayed eternal. That was one thing that could never, ever sink. And you know what? Rose kept her word. She survived that horrible night in 1912. She went on to live a long, full life, chasing all the adventures they had dreamed up together. And through it all, his memory was always with her, an eternal love she carried in her heart until the very end. So in her final moments as an old woman, warm in her bed just like he wanted, she closes her eyes, and she remembers. She remembers the boy who saved her in every single way that a person can be saved. He didn't just rescue her from a sinking ship, he rescued her from a life that was already sinking. Which really just leaves us all with this one timeless question. Can love truly triumph over death? The story of Jack and Rose, well, it seems to suggest that maybe, just maybe, it can. While a life can end, their story shows that a powerful love can become a part of us, a memory that shapes our entire future and just lives on, making it truly immortal.